Live, and we are live. Welcome everyone back to the Purple Creator Show. If you don't know, I'm going to be your co-host. You can call me the Pug, and with me.
And I am Andre Costa, the CEO and founder of PurpleTrader.
Awesome. Well, today is a great episode. It's our third episode of the Purple Creator Show. In case you missed out last week, Andre touched upon some great social tokens in sports. These tokens included City, the fan token of Manchester City, PFL, the fan token of the Professional Fighters League, Davis, the fan token of the Davis Cup, Raps, which was a community token for Raptors Republic, a media company, and lastly, Kraus, a governance token for the Kraus DAO. If you haven't already, please go check out some of our videos on them. But also, last week we brought on Gemini Rising, a digital video and crypto artist. It was a long interview, but it was definitely worth it because there was a lot to talk about. We spoke about her new DAO, LP DAO, a DAO with the mission to bring live performers into the MetaVerse. And we also touched upon how creators can get started in this space. Andre, is there anything you wanted to add on that? About
it was a very great interview. I feel very inspired by her mission of helping creators. I think definitely worth to watch that episode as well.
Couldn't agree more, Andre. There's a lot of stuff to take from that interview, and in the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing some of that content. But if you missed out on the past couple of interviews, you can watch the highlights on our website and on YouTube. So for today, this week, we decided to switch it up, and we're going to focus on social tokens that our audience has asked us to discuss. These social tokens will discuss various topics such as the creator economy, asset preservation, and product development. We are also honored to be interviewing Teddy, a builder in the space and a contributor to the MeeBits DAO. He's also a community manager at Square Bears, an NFT project, particularly in gaming. So please stay tuned for what we have in store. But now, as you know, I'll give it to Andre, and we're going to touch upon social tokens of the week. Andre, take it away.
Thank you, Giovanni. So today we are going to talk about three amazing tokens. Definitely worth to take a look, do some dive deep. Again, this is not a financial investment. Please do your own research. The first token is Cabin. It's a decentralized city built by creators for creators. Their vision is to be a physical manifestation of DAOs. They emphasize the importance of real-life events, and they already own a private land in Texas, about 45 minutes outside Austin. They plan to have residency retreats for independent creators in a labor market. Their decentralized village are connected by a shared culture, economy, and governance structure. Their goal is to become one node in a network of decentralized properties, so it perhaps can become a decentralized city-state. At the moment, the token cap has three main purposes. One, governance, where you can vote on major decisions like usage of funds or which neighborhoods they are going to bring into the network. They give access by holding at least 10 tokens. It will provide you access to events and virtual channels. And finally, to onboard neighborhood that stake the token so their property can be recognized. Currently, the price is about $3, much lower than the price in February, but it was before the crypto bear market that we can see today. The second token that we are going to talk is robot. Think like a fashion brand owned by a community and that has a marketplace to create and sell digital and physical goods. Their vision is to be an intersection between fashion and technology. And one of their unique features is the design and production process. So the designers can do mock-ups, which starts digitally on their website, and then they are currently built in Berlin and New York microfactories with support of a network of suppliers. The community has 4 main groups. First, fashion and research and production. Then MetaVerse crew, DAO research and tooling, and tokenomics, general incentives for design. At the moment, the token holders give you many benefits, such as access to Discord channel, exclusive drops only for token holders, and the ability to vote on proposals and much more. You can earn if you are designing and purchasing project. You actually can earn tokens from the community, and their current price is around $13 per token in a market cap of $2.8 million. Finally, the last token that we're going to talk today, it's Whale. It's a social currency that is backed by NFTs and other digital collectibles. Their portfolio include over 13 assets and some of the rarest NFTs, like from crypto art, sandbox, crypto motors, and many others. The estimated value of assets already reached around $100 million in the past. And anyone can become a Whale, a community member in the Whale by holding their tokens. And you have several benefits, like you are allowed to do rental and purchase of NFTs. You can do voting in the DAO, attend physical and virtual conference, and many more. Additionally, holders have access to exclusive membership channels that offers games, NFTs, airdrops, and others. Current price is $1.80, and daily volume in a few days ago was around $40,000 per day in trading volume. Hope you enjoy it. The tokens of the week, of today.
Awesome, Andre. Thanks for touching upon those social tokens. There's it's amazing what some of these projects are doing. I particularly going to have to do a little bit more research on Cabin as a creator myself. I think it would be great to do a little bit more research on them, and I'm sure other creators could benefit from learning more about them. But that's just, listen, all tokens, all those social tokens had a lot to offer, particularly Whale 2 and Robot and what they call MetaFactory. So thanks for touching upon those social tokens. Look forward to sharing the content. Andre, why don't we touch upon what's been happening this month in the industry? I know you sent out a huge newsletter to everyone out there. For those that didn't get to read it, why don't we just do a quick recap of what's happening this month in the industry?
Yeah, a few points. Like I was very glad to see the industry progress. And a few points that I want to highlight is first, ApeCoin announced that Gucci will become the first major brand to allow customers to pay for purchase in store with their own coin. Another one is that Chili's invested $100 million in Barca Studios which is the digital arm of Barcelona Football Club. So you're going to see much more utilities coming out of that. And finally, Gary, which the owner of the NFT project VFriends, provides several offline and in-person utilities. They raised $50 million in fund led by A16Z. So very interesting movements. The last one I forgot to mention is Coinbase released the first part of its Bored App Yacht Club, which is an interactive film featuring those NFTs from members of Ape community. So very interesting to see the movement of the market.
Andre, I mean, there's a lot going on this month, but what does this just mean in general for social tokens?
Yeah, I think there are several, like we could talk here of a lot of points, but I would like to say that we strongly believe that the value of social tokens are a combination of utilities with communities' reputations. So the movement of top tier brands adding more utilities like ApeCoin and Gucci are a recipe that brings us to the right direction. And it's just like great indicatives that social tokens are here to stay, and maybe will become mature, more mature faster than expected.
Couldn't agree more. Andre. Thanks for the insight, and it's really exciting what's going on, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Now, Andre, let's bring in who we're going to be interviewing today. His name is Teddy. Let's see if Teddy hear us. Teddy, can you?
I think you're on mute, Ted.
I think he has himself muted.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, now we're here.
How are you?
Hey, Teddy.
Yes. How's everyone?
Nice to talk to you again, Teddy.
Yeah. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure always.
Yeah, Teddy. Well, why don't you introduce yourself? Talk a little bit about who you are and what you've been up to. Just a little recap, Teddy. We met Teddy at NFT NYC, and we're glad to have brought him on. He's building some great stuff. He's part of a lot of great stuff, and he's also building a lot of great stuff. So, Teddy, why don't you just take it away?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. My name is Teddy. I'm a software engineer major. Like I'll be graduating in the fall, but I am part of a few projects. One of them is MeeBits DAO. I've been part of the admin for about 2 to 3 months now. And also I do work for Squarebear's NFT as a community manager, as a dev, and a few other hats. Like in the Web3 world, you do wear a lot of different hats. So yeah, like I'm very much enthusiastic about the Web3 space and what it does have to offer for, the future of finance and the future of different, disenfranchised communities. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you're able to manage all these different projects at once, but kudos to you. I think a lot of people in this space, they seem to they have the ability to manage all these different projects, and it's quite impressive. Just to think about it. So, Andre, we spoke to Shara, a banker, that we spoke to Krista, a creative, and now today we're going to have Teddy, an engineer in a sense. it's great to have all these different perspectives. So I'm real excited to dive into some of these questions. Teddy, first thing we wanted to know and is really about MeeBits DAO and your experience there. We'd love to hear some of the things that you've been learning from contributing to MeeBits DAO, and also some of the things that separate MeeBits DAO from all the other DAOs out there. Because MeeBits DAO, from what we know, is really one of the top NFTs out there. So curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so MeeBits DAO it's a community. I would say it's a hybrid between an investment DAO and a community DAO. So a bunch of community members who owned MeeBits, this was before the Yuga Labs acquisition, came together and wanted to bring in the promise of MetaVerse ready NFT. So MeeBits, for people who do not know, are 3D voxel files created by Lava Labs and now owned by Yuga. And so they're supposed, like, the vision, like Lava Labs are very visionary in the way that they wanted the NFT to be, because they were thinking about the metaverse. Right now, the metaverse is very much of a buzzword. Everybody talks about it, but I think Lava Labs were very much pioneers at the time. And so this is a collection of 20,000 NFTs. And they are 3D voxel files. And the DAO, MeeBits DAO, was able to kind of bring in that promise by allowing people to have like an API. So if you go to the MeeBits DAO website, you can get an API for you to download different file formats like voxel files, FBX files. So files that allow creators in the space to make MeeBits part of different metaverses. And so kind of the propulsion of having MeeBits everywhere in different metaverses. And so I think so the structures of DAOs have been very interesting to learn about. And there's so much like in the tiers of how MeeBits DAO runs. Just in general, there are two tiers. So there's a founders. You can become a founder, or you can have just a general membership. And so founders are capped at 200, and usually they are MeeBits owners. And they give 1 ETH to a treasury, and they are able to kind of lead in proposals and also voting on different things that the DAO is trying to do. And so general members are able to also delegate their governance tokens to these founders if they choose, and have them vote on issues they believe in. So it's very much communities coming together to build, interoperability for MeeBits.
Awesome. There's something you touched upon. You mentioned the metaverse and how
Yes,
it's playing a huge role in the metaverse development. Curious on your thoughts, metaverse. What are your thoughts on it? There's so many different opinions. Some people think dystopian. Other people see that it's going to bring great connection to bring together everyone. So there's a wide range of opinions out there. Curious to hear your thoughts on just the metaverse.
Yeah, I think the metaverse, and especially dealing with NFTs, because they started as such an interesting way of digitizing art, so we had like the punks, and so that really had no form of utility in a different space. So people came up with this idea of having metaverses where communities could go and like probably have their NFTs and also a few different NFTs. And so for me, I want metaverses that are open. Like, we know Facebook is trying to create, like they have branded themselves as Meta right now. And so there's this whole siloed approach of metaverses where they want to kind of house metaverses as something centralized. And from what we've seen in Web3, projects that do well are things that communities rally behind. And so that has to keep in that decentralized format. I am all for different communities from all over the world creating what they seem fit as a metaverse. And so I know there is an influx of creators out there, but I think it's good to see different developers across the world try and create safe spaces, create interesting fun dance spaces for different NFT communities to be a part of. So kind of that's kind of my general broad concept of the metaverse.
Makes sense. Let's take something you talk. I want to take it back. Talking about MeeBits DAO and your contribution, can you tell us something that just by being a part of it, what have you learned just by contributing to a DAO in general? Because this is for people that maybe they don't know what value they can get from joining a DAO. So let's hear it. We want to hear it from not a creator's perspective. We want to hear it from an engineer's perspective, such as yourself.
Okay, so MeeBits DAO, I have to shout out Kai Gani because he is he's the founder of MeeBits DAO, and also Danny Green, who is currently the general manager of MeeBits DAO. I've been able to learn about just the structure of what a DAO is. It's a decentralized autonomous organization. And so as opposed to being in the traditional sense, people invest in companies and get shares. A DAO, you're able to come together as a community and kind of control an asset. So you're not really doing this top-down approach, which is like the hierarchical traditional system. You're doing a more community-driven approach where people are able to vote on different aspects. So you are able to learn about the different structures. So far, I've geared them towards 3 different types of DAOs. Like, it's very broad because it's such a new concept and people are innovating different ways of doing it. So I would say there are protocol DAOs where you have DeFi protocols and crypto protocols, which end up being taken by communities and being made DAOs. So that's a very interesting perspective of how DAOs can be created. There are investment DAOs like Flamingo DAO, which is more like an NFT DAO, but with the backdrop of investment. And then we have community DAOs where people just come on and create, and it can start with 3 people. When people have interest towards different collections, you come together and you figure out what your structure and the rubrics are going to be. And so, yeah, it's so broad and there's so much to learn. But I've just been enjoying learning the different voting mechanisms, what happens, the transparency that is important, talking about treasuries very openly and having everybody participate in some sort of sense.
Nice. I have a question, Teddy. For someone that is new into this ecosystem, how I would like for you to tell a little bit about your experience. Like, how did you search for information about maybe another DAO, a previous, like your first DAO that you were in touch? How did you find information about them, or even decided to purchase their token if that was the case, or maybe you just receive it? This was information like this. Your beginning into that.
Yeah. And so there's so much information out there, and that's kind of like the issue because it's such a new space and everybody's trying to learn so much. So if I am like, I've always been interested in financial technology. So like, I really wanted to work in like anything fintech. And so DeFi felt very appealing to me. So my search pretty much started with going to NFT events. I would go. I live in Los Angeles, so I am able to like during NFT LA and different like the organizations called NFT Tuesdays. If you look up from the city you're in, look up any sort of like party or event that you can go to and then listen to speakers. So for DAOs, NFT NYC was a great source of knowledge for me. And then looking up on the internet, just kind of structures about DAOs, what comes with the governance, what you need. So there's a lot of resources out there, and you just have to, you know, try and meet people in person as well so they can explain it to you and meet people and then end up choosing what you think seems fit and also looking at the collections that because there are very interesting DAOs out there. Like I prefer NFT driven DAOs, and so you look at what is on their album, what are they collecting, and then you ask yourself, is this something I want to be a part of? And then choosing what tokens to buy or how you can be involved with them.
Andre, that answer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to follow up on that because Teddy, there's a lot to take from what you just said. You mentioned that you like NFT DAOs.
Yes.
Now, in your opinion, then what are some of the best DAOs out there, if you know on top of your hand, to check out?
Yeah.
This financial, just to check out and for people to check out.
Yeah, like I think so. Nouns DAO is a great one. I like Flamingo DAO as well. If I Flamingo DAO, you think of the Lao as well. I think they have like a very good structure. MeeBits DAO, I think it's an incredible. If you like MeeBits and you like the idea of interoperability in the metaverse, that's a great DAO to look at. Matter is actually, it's by Kai, and he's trying to do a DAO for artists, to fund artists, to make sure like artists are being paid and discovered. And so that's a great one. And also there's Neon DAO, which raised so much money, like in 2021. I believe like DAOs have this very interesting way of raising a lot of capital really quickly if done correctly. And so Neon DAO is a great one. What else? Yeah, those are the ones I can think of right now, but there's so much out there.
Thanks for sharing your insight. That's what I really love about this space too, is people's willingness to talk about other projects and call and just give them some spotlight. You don't really see that with people going, I really love JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, go check them out. But
Yeah.
That's what's the fascinating is it's really this community aspect and it makes it exciting. Now I got a question, 30, about still sticking on DAOs.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion for like the future? What do you see in terms of the structure? Any trends that you anticipate with DAOs?
Yeah. So with DAOs, we've kind of seen there's no template currently. Like people have been trying to figure out the best voting structures that they can do, and so as far as trends go, I think just understanding if you want to be a protocol DAO, if you want to be an investment DAO, if you want to be a community DAO, or a hybrid of like a community and investment. So those are kind of the trends I'm seeing. The future for me, definitely, I think NFT based DAOs are the way to go, just because there's already so much community built on NFTs. People love collecting together, people love different digital art. So if people are drawn to like either high art or uh, interesting PFP characters or different video characters, people are able to gravitate towards that and have a collection, and then figure out how to incentivize, communities and build upon that. So yeah, I think NFT DAOs will be the future trend. And also, I think you definitely have to look at where the laws are. Because if you are in America, you have to really try and figure out between an Center of Exchange Commission and like the IRS. I think they have different aspects of what they think about securities. And so figuring out the rubrics of making sure your DAOs are within those guidelines.
Yeah, I mean, you touched upon these requirements for DAOs, and one of the things that when I went to NFT NYC that people were talking about is the regulations are just going to get more for DAOs. You know, it's going to get harder. A lot of what DAOs have been able to get away with will not be the case, and there's going to be a lot more. It's just going to be more regulated. And I spoke to a couple of people that they said they couldn't they didn't want to start a DAO because of all the legal aspects required. It was a pain, particularly in the United States. I'm opening this up to Andre and Teddy. I'm curious, is this going to be an issue for the DAOs, for the evolution of DAOs moving forward? Is the new regulations coming about, could this hinder the evolution of DAOs?
For me, for my regard, I believe if you decide to keep within the rubrics, I don't see, I know the Center of Exchange Commission and the IRS have very muddy ways of describing the law right now with NFTs in general, cryptocurrencies. But if you are able to create a DAO, maybe have it anchored in an LLC in states like Delaware or Wyoming, which are favorable to like the crypto market and like crypto technology, and also just making sure you keep within the laws, have like a KYC element, an AML element to it. I think you should be able to do well. I think if you're trying to build DAOs with nefarious reasons, you'll end up, the more corners you try and get, the worse it's going to get for you. So I think keep within the rubrics, build, because at the end of the day, we're people who are building DAOs are kind of pioneers in this space. And so they'll be able to navigate this the best that they can see, regardless of what laws are created. And I might be very optimistic here, but I know there's active laws against this. But just if you keep within those rubrics, you should be fine.
I have a comment on this. I couldn't agree more with Teddy. The way that I see, here's the point: there are many cowboys today out there, including in US, like many projects that are sketchy, or they don't ask for KYC. They are just going to a direction that it's gonna be too risky. And but in other way, like if you prefer and if you choose projects that are trying to follow the regulatory needs, the requirements, and legislation as much as possible, I think we should be fine. Like DAOs and social tokens, they are here to stay. Not all DAOs are going to be allowed to be sold as a security, sorry, as an utility, just because of the way that they were structured. So if you are launching a DAO or if you are buying a DAO, you must to understand the structure of that particular token. So as long as you follow some guidelines, you should be fine. But it's still like, who knows? It's still a question that nobody can answer. But the future is there. It's exciting, and a lot of innovation we are gonna see into this space that probably I don't see that is in a way to stop.
Great insight. No, that's appreciate the comments on that. Now let's switch gears from DAOs. I want to talk about social tokens, and I'm like we always ask our guests, Teddy. We're just curious. What are your thoughts on social tokens in general? Do you own any tokens? Yeah, please, let's hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I believe social tokens definitely have their space in this market. And I think with the rise of influencers, celebrity culture, I think there are very interesting ways for different people in entertainment to monetize their brand and have social tokens and build their communities and have that trading for whatever value that the community can figure out. I think definitely they're here to stay. I think what you guys are doing with PurpleTrader, just having a place where a lot of different tokens can be, utility tokens, social tokens can be exchanged in a central place in a decentralized world is okay. I think it's great, and people will be all for it. And I think there's a shift from other crypto, like most NFT projects are trying to figure out how to include social tokens as well in their structure. So those are my thoughts.
Any view when we should, like, you as a project owner, like you are building a DAO, should use fungible tokens versus like DAOs and social tokens versus NFTs?
Sorry, repeat that question one more time.
When should we be using NFTs versus using DAOs or social tokens? What is your view? Like what is the use case, best use case for any of those?
Yeah, I think when it comes to governance tokens, they all in DAOs, you can have both NFTs and social tokens, and also fungible, like the ERC20s. I'll give an example of MeeBitsDAO. The membership, so if you're a founder, you do get an NFT, which is an ERC. It's an ERC21 on the Polygon network. So that's an NFT that kind of shows that you're a founder in the MeeBitsDAO. And then general members also get an NFT, which is ERC721 on the Ethereum mainnet. Then, so for governance, like when you do want to vote on things, then MeeBitsDAO has something called MBOX, which is ERC20. So those are fungible tokens that can be used for voting on proposals and everything. And then, and then so usually when you have NFTs put in a pool, they give back tokens. So in MeeBits DAO, there is an MBBT, which should be a mirroring of a one-to-one. So whatever is in the album, whatever value is in your treasury, should kind of correlate with what the token value is. But usually tokens are very, as we know in Web3, they're very volatile. So definitely there is a space for ERC20s and NFTs in DAOs, and it's just picking and choosing what makes sense as a fungible versus non-fungible. And so memberships, of course, non-fungible, and then voting and tokens being given back should be fungible. Oh, sorry.
Awesome.
You guys muted. Okay.
Awesome.
I was like,
ready to go.
Yes.
So to follow up on another question that I had asked, do you own any? Now this is where the definition: social tokens, utility tokens, because I know people
Yes.
get. But do you own any?
Social tokens at this point, no. I am not. I keep saying that I'm a developer in the space. I think of there's a running joke. My friend Daniel, who is the founder of Squarebears, we ask ourselves every time, where is the innovation? So I'm more about how to build different projects versus just looking to own social tokens for the heck of it. I definitely think there are spaces for that. I do not own any social tokens currently. I dabble in my NFTs, and I have utility tokens which are incentivized from staking, and and then governance tokens. So those are kind of what I have.
Got it. I think this is a good transition. You mentioned Squarebears, but I think we should talk about that project. I see that right behind you. You got a nice logo. It says Squarebears.
Yeah, I had to do it for Daniel.
Well, I think let's talk about that. I think it's a very interesting project, and I want to give you the time to really talk about it and explain to people that for the first time they might be hearing it.
Yeah, so Squarebears NFT is a collection of about 1,161 NFTs that are kind of bears. They're very interesting looking bears with different, if you look at the properties and just kind of what they have, it's very diverse, very interesting how they were created. The artist is Gustavo, very talented person. If you do go on the Squarebears, like on the Twitter, you'll be able to see kind of a documentary by Gustavo and how the art was created. And so it started off as a PFP project, and it is morphing into, we're doing. We talk about the retroverse. There is a retroverse aspect to Squarebears NFT, and we are shifting towards gaming. And so we have a minimal viable product coming out very soon. I know the bears are dying to play the game. We already have people beta testing the game. And so it's a third-person shooter game where we incorporate not only Squarebears as characters, but we also have an Azuki character, like a Clonex character in there. We have a Mev army. We have a Gojira in there. So we are trying to also have different communities be part of the game. And so currently how to get your character onto the game, if you're a Square Bear, you have to be a platinum holder. So that is 10 plus bears. And then we rig your PFP into the game. And so you can play as your character in the game. And then we have different communities who reach out to us asking for their PFPs to be part of the game. And so it's going to be a very interesting way to see different communities rival in the gaming aspect, because I believe NFTs and gaming are very, there's a synergy towards them. So I think that's a great shift. And as you say, I think Square Bears has something very interesting going, because it's very innovative in what we are planning to do. I'm excited for it. There are things that I should not disclose because I will be killed by Daniel. But yeah, it's I'm very excited for the project. It's a good project, good community, and we are trying to be true innovators in the space. So let's wait and see how that goes.
I mean, gaming and NFTs, I do agree that there's this great synergy happening, and it has been picking up steam in the NFT community, gaming and NFTs. I'm just curious, how is this going to change? How is NFT and gaming in general just going to change the way of the industry of gaming as a whole? So look at even your traditional gaming, like whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, whatever that case may be. How is this going to change? Where do you see the future for just gaming and how NFTs is disrupting it?
Yeah, and I think, because again, if you look at the people who own NFTs, there are people who are on Discords pretty much every day. It's so funny to me. So it's a bunch, and they are like gamers at heart. Like they're nerds, they're gamers, they're people who are excited about what characters look like, what different properties look like, what skins look like. They look at NFTs with a fine-tooth comb, just trying to figure out how can I, use this, as opposed of, because there's this whole notion of social signaling where everybody has their PFPs as their NFT, their most prized NFT. And so gaming really takes that and makes it exponential, in a sense of now you're bringing your NFTs to light. And I can go back to like MeeBits and them being like voxel ready, like voxel characters which are MetaVerse ready. So easily rigged in games, easily rigged in different metaverses. So I think definitely the future will be a hybrid. For now, it definitely has to be a hybrid between kind of what Web2 gaming is doing and Web3, where we'll definitely see an influx of different gamers, because there's this whole play to earn, which I think play to earn in a sense is, I don't like the concept. I won't go very much deep into why, but I think there are more innovative ways to do that. And so I think just the shift of what Web2 gamers and like how they buy different aspects of skins and characters, that being brought into Web3 just makes more sense, because you practically own that NFT on a blockchain and you can figure out ways of incentivizing it. So I think that it's just it's a clear synergy, and I see it going really far.
Teddy, why just you don't need to go very deep, but why play to earn is not a good idea in your opinion?
Because when you're playing games and because people play games for fun usually. Playing to earn is a very you're slaving away to get something, and so like I think the rubrics of how that is created kind of takes the fun out of gaming as well. And so I know it's huge in this space, and I think what we're doing with Square Bears, I'm choosing not to reveal it currently, but the whole play to earn mindset, I think there's better ways of doing that, and so making sure everybody has fun and the game is also having monetary value to, the creators. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts.
Got it. Otherwise, it becomes pretty much capital oriented, money oriented. That
Yes.
okay. I see.
Hmm.
Teddy, I know you discussed I don't know if you can discuss, but there's going to be some sort of token out of this project.
Hmm.
I don't know how much you can go into if you're allowed.
Yeah, and so there are tiers to this, like the way we're doing our game rollout, um, I'm really thinking to make sure I say the correct things. Um, as far as just honey in general, honey is it's a utility token where people who have Squarebears NFT are able to stake it and then earn honey per day. So there are different tiers to it. Like you earn 10 honey a day if you just have per NFT you have. If you're a diamond holder and a platinum holder, there are different multipliers that come into that. The supply is 1 million, and that is a clear. Currently, there's no monetary value for honey, and so that's just on its clear self where that stands. With the gaming, including tokenomics, there are different innovative ways that we're going to blend tokenomics into the game. Currently, we are just telling our Square Bears holders that honey will be you'll be able to get things like flights and merch. So we'll have a marketplace where you can use your honey to redeem for different things. And then the game notion, there's a different way of kind of having more sophisticated tokenomics added to it. And then it having just like a fun appeal for everyone. Because we just want all the communities to have fun and just engage. So I think we are really thinking about how best to do that for Square Bears.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the release of the project. It sounds very, very interesting and innovative in the space. I hear third person shooting with bears. I mean, I can only imagine what it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah. I just want people to have fun because the game is it's really addictive and people are having fun. Like we have a few people who are testing it and the videos they send us, they're just like they're talking about you know things like just random things. These are people who have never met each other. They've met at a Discord. They want to play a game, and then we have leaderboards where we'll be ranking different communities. So we want our Square Bears to make sure they're making sure we're at the top. So they play the best that they can. We'll be including like the Clonex community and the Azuki community, and ever I just dropped that, but so very very cool people.
Well, congratulations on so far the we'll call it the progress of the project, and we're looking forward to seeing it when it's released.
Yes.
As we head towards the end of the interview, I want to get more on the reflective side of your personal experience, Teddy.
Mhm.
one of the things we like to ask everyone is what are some of the lessons that you've learned by being in this space?
Lesson. There's a lot. Like being a developer is, I think you're every time trying to learn so much. I keep asking myself, when am I going to stop learning about new concepts? There's gaming, there's like different smart contracts on different chains. You've figured out Solidity. You have to figure out what XRP is doing. So it's this never-ending yearning for education. And so I've learned to kind of try and focus on singular projects that I am most passionate about. I am very thankful for the bear market right now. I know that might be unpopular to some, but I think when you're working towards innovation and like really solid projects, having a market that is wild in a sense of a bull market. There's just so much. You're inundated with so much information, and this project is doing this project is releasing this, and there's no time for you to just focus properly on like what you're trying to do. So I think just taking back, like figuring out what you really want to do, learning the essential things you need to learn about your project, and then hoping that whatever you're building is going to appeal to an audience.
Yeah, no,
Fantastic. I couldn't agree more. We just generate too much anxiety, right? When the market is too hot. So there are many benefits of the current stage. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's great. I like I said before, the community, the space has been great. It's been fantastic to meet so many new people, what they're building. Do you think, Teddy, that this space attracts a specific type of person? Is in your opinion of what kind of people gravitate towards this space that you've seen?
Yeah, and I think there's now a variety because the more we become mainstream, so there's this notion that if you are in NFTs, you're extremely wealthy or you'll get wealthy really quickly. And so that is true for some, but that is not true for most. I think when you pick and choose, like living in Los Angeles, there's a bunch of like NFT events you can go to. Picking and choosing which ones, like I gravitate more to events that will have panels about kind of what's happening in the tech space, like development wise. So I go to those. There are artists in the space who would go to, events about different things about like what artists are doing in the NFT space. So I think it pulls a broad audience. You have to navigate it the best that you can to find your people. Because and there's just such, you find amazing people in Web3. Like some of my favorite people currently who I probably just met like a few months ago, and now we are forever texting like every single day, waking, breathing about like Web3, what is happening. So you meet people who will be attached to you a lot in this space. And so, yeah, it pulls a broad audience. You just have to navigate and pick and choose what niche you'll fall under.
Thank you, Teddy, for that wisdom.
Who's
I don't have any other questions to ask today. I don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Windows. But I learned it so much. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. I appreciate you guys so much,
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
like it was a pleasure, Teddy. I'm grateful to have met you at NFT NYC, to also just be able to just meet people that are building in this space. It keeps me going. Again, thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it definitely is a pleasure anytime I get to speak to you guys both. And yeah, I wish all the best to Purple Create and what you guys are doing. And yeah, let's hope for the best with our projects and just the space in general, because I think Web3 has this community element already in it. And we want to see, literally, like, one of the biggest taglines, buzzword is WAGME. So there's this, whether you think about it, there's this um, need for wanting everybody to win, So I hope that is true, and I hope that that genuine community that people end up building sticks, for the long run.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
Teddy, well, look out for. I mean, like we do it all at every interview. We're gonna put all this content together, and just look out for the content on Twitter. If there's any type of content you want, please feel free to reach out to us. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. This has been a great interview. I had a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. I've enjoyed myself as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Be well. Bye-bye.